actually. Doing really well. Okay, just make sure I'm getting all situated. I am recording this.
Okay.
You get a recorded version of it either tomorrow or Sunday.
Okay.
Sometimes I forget to do it the day after, and people will email me like, where's my recording? I'm like, sorry, I'm just one person.
Yeah, I understand.
So also, the way that I don't really have a particular way that I do this because I really like for Spirit to give you the messages that you need to hear. You can, of course, ask me questions through all of it if you want to. But I should start with your birthday.
My birthday is September 17th, 1993.
Well, happy late birthday.
Thank you. I know it's your birthday too, right? In August?
Yeah, August 30th.
Yeah.
I bet I'm much older than you, though. So do you have a direction that you're hoping this reading goes in?
I want to know about like my career and love life.
Okay. That's usually the two. That's why I'm like, let's see what Spirit has to say first.
Okay.
We'll get into, because usually that's like the main two things
that
I know about. But I love that because you're a Virgo, you said career first. A lot of people are like, I want to know about love first. I'm like, not a Virgo. We're like, sure, it'd be great to be loved, but if I'm not successful, that means nothing. Okay. So I love this too. So I feel like if you don't already have somebody in your life, I feel like you're like manifesting the perfect partner. You're like, the next guy that comes into my life is going to be the King of Pentacles because he'll understand me and he'll get it. Do you already have a King of Pentacles in your life, or is this somebody that you're like hoping comes into your life?
Yeah, I just met somebody like 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Do you know what his birthday is?
Yeah, he's a Capricorn.
Oh.
Yeah. His birthday is the 31st of December.
Okay. So he came out first, and then you came out right after that. So this is a pretty good pair. If you were worried, I don't think you were worried about that though. I think you're worried about where it's going because you're like, no, we get along fine.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks, huh? I always love the beginning of a relationship when, you know, everything is like light and airy and there isn't like an expectation to be. Let's see. I'm actually going to clarify him and see what we can get. Okay, so the Two of Wands came out before I started to clarify him. So I was going to say that there's some kind of decision making that's happening, and then the Two of Pentacles came out on him when I clarified him. So I don't know if you're still trying to decide about him or if he's still trying to decide about you. Do you feel like you're like, I don't really know if he's the right one, or are you pretty sure?
I know he just got out of a relationship, so I know he's like really trying to take things slow.
Yeah. And that's the thing is if he really has super strong feelings for you already just outside of a relationship, that's going to scare him, right? Eight of Swords, fear. Because, and honestly, for your sake, your protection and your sake, you want him to heal from the past relationship. You want him to go through the process. Oh, I was going to tell you really quick that if my Wi-Fi gets a little wonky, I'll notice it when it starts to happen. Don't like click off or anything. I will always come back.
Okay.
Because my Wi-Fi, like there are some days, and it's so funny because I like have had it fixed I don't know how many times, and I just had to decide that it's spirit. Like sometimes they just mess with me. My grandfather is around me all the time, and he's always been a prankster, so I have to like preempt all my readings that way.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So people think I'm crazy when I say stuff like that, but it's so true.
No, definitely not.
Eight of Swords. So, and that's the thing is I do feel like he has feelings for you. Like And I mean, I don't feel like he's madly in love with you or anything like that, but I do feel like he knows the connection is there. And I think that's why he's in an 8 of Swords, 2 of Pentacles state of mind, because it's like, I really like this girl, but is it too soon? Is it like, that's what I keep hearing. Is it too soon? Is it too soon? And you being a Virgo and understanding that people need practicality in relationships, you know, because sometimes we just like lose our shit, lose our minds, and we're just like not practical at all when it comes to relationships. But you being a Virgo and knowing that being practical in a relationship usually helps strengthen the bond, talk to him about it and be like, you know, I'm not putting any pressure on you. I like you. I genuinely think you're a fantastic person. But if you need time and space, sometimes, you know, all you got to do is let me know. But therein lies, like, I want you to make sure that you have boundaries up to protect yourself. And when I tell people to have boundaries, they're like, well, I don't know how to do that. I don't know what that means. And I'm like, be honest with them. If they're going, or they're just now coming out of something, or they're just now, you know, and they're still kind of dealing with a mess or whatever, you don't want to insert, like, you don't, even though we're natural healers and we're like, oh, you poor thing, let me take care of you. You don't want to take on his mess. You have way too many things to do in your life to take on his mess. His mess is for his healing. You can be a support system all he wants. But for you to embed yourself into it and be like, let me hold you while you go through all of this, and I'll just stay here and I'll forget about the rest of my life, that's something we're going to try and avoid. And in one of those ways that happens, and I've seen this happen quite a bit, and that's why I'm saying this, like, not to scare you or anything, but this is just sort of a pattern that I've seen with people that have come out of relationships and they start new relationships right away, is they get really scared when they start to have feelings for the person, and then they ghost them and they run away and you don't hear from them. So that's why I said putting up your boundary by saying, you know what, we can talk about it. We don't have to talk about it if it's not something that you want to address. But if you need time and space away from me, all I ask is for you to respect me and tell me. Like, because I am not a big fan, and I know most Virgos are not big fans of just being ignored. And like, we're trying to be here for you. We're trying to be your support system. And then you just shut off. Has he done that?
No.
Okay. I'm like, why am I telling her this? It might be, I actually asked them that. Why am I having to tell her this? That's why I asked you if he's already done it. But it could be that might, because Capricorns have a very hard time expressing their emotions, just like Virgos do, just like Tauruses do. It is an earth sign thing. I don't like to put stigmas on people, but it's true. It just is. Especially, like, I'm a Virgo Venus, so I really have a hard time expressing emotions. I can do it in a very general way, but if we sit down and I start crying, I will get up and go to the other room, because I'm like, I don't need to, like, it's just a waste of energy to be a hot mess. Like, why am I doing this right now? It's a waste of my time. So he is, you know, if you were wondering like where he was in all of this, he is struggling. He's struggling with how he feels about you. He's struggling with, is this the right thing to do? All of that. Those answers, he can only answer that stuff for himself. Like, you're not going to be able to change his mind if he changes his mind. So my advice in this right now, just because it is still so fresh and he could still be very vulnerable, is you really just need to allow it to flow organically the way that it's supposed to. And I don't think that you really have a problem with that, but yeah, especially with Capricorns. And they're going through Saturn, Pluto stuff. I don't know why I keep cursing. Normally it's because, and you don't curse. Why am I cursing? That's weird. Do you curse? Are you somebody that cusses?
Yeah.
Because normally in a professional reading, I won't. I won't.
Oh, okay.
And I was married to a sailor, so I curse like a sailor. Like, I mean, I will drop a bomb every other sentence if I have to get my point across. Yeah, normally in a professional reading, I don't, unless the other person is prone to cussing.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow, yeah. You seriously manifested somebody in your life that is very equal to you. Do you realize that you did that, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been working on it you're consciously aware that he showed up because you were like, universe, heal me so I can be ready. And then you opened yourself up. You were like an open vessel is what I feel like. Because the Magician, I was clarifying you, and it was the Magician and the Six of Cups. So you literally manifested a soulmate into your relationship, or into your life, for a relationship. And it's so funny when I tell people, especially Virgos, and I had a blast doing Virgo readings. Like, I'm really sad it's over. I'm sad that the Virgo readings are like non-existent now. Because we are like such amazing master manifestors, and we do it so effortlessly that nobody really understands it. When I ask a Virgo and I'm like, so you're consciously aware that you did this, and you're like, like that very like that smile, like, oh, I know what I did, trust me, I know what I was doing. I get it, you know. But then other people, I'm like, do you know that you manifested this? And they're like, no. How did that happen? I was like, you should be friends with a Virgo. But yeah, so you really did manifest a soulmate into your life, and herein lies this guy. I do feel like you're going to learn, because I feel like this is something that has been like lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. So I do feel like you have some lessons that you'll be learning from each other. So don't be afraid that if you guys like trigger each other and stuff like that, and then both of you shut down, because a lot of times that'll happen when it's two earth signs, is like you guys will trigger each other and then you'll both run away, and you'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. You'll come back and be like, I apologize for running away. I'm going to clarify the Two of Wands, and then we're going to start all over again.
Okay.
I wish I could tell you more about him, but I don't think I'm supposed to. I think that just knowing that he is sort of on the fence right now is good enough for you. Because I don't even think that you really want to jump into something like really, really fast. Okay, so now I'm super curious. It's like indecision after indecision after indecision. I do feel like he might become a little bit wishy-washy. And so I sort of, if you feel like you can hold the course, I of course don't want him to overstep your boundaries. But at the same time, he just needs to find some footing. He needs to find a foundation for him to be on. But I do feel like he might be a little bit in and out for a minute. As long as you're okay with that, you know, or you look at it like, all right, I get it, he's healing, all of that. I say that with like, take that with a grain of salt, because I do feel like it could hurt your feelings if you're not prepared for it. It could really hurt your feelings. It could trigger like an abandonment or a rejection type of wound inside of you. But also, because it's so brand new, like, it's okay that he's a little bit in and out right now, because you guys aren't committed. You know, it's so funny when people get into relationships and they have this really strong connection, and then all of a sudden they just want the person to commit, and the person's like, hell no, are you kidding me? We just met. So I feel like with the Knight of Wands and the Three of Pentacles on the Two of Wands, do you want to start your own business?
I'm actually finishing school, so I'm like looking for jobs right now.
Oh, okay. Can I ask you what field it's in?
Business, but right now I'm doing marketing. I work in social media.
Oh, man, I could use a person like you. I wish that I could be more present on social media, and it's like, I have no time. I can never find time during the day. And I'll realize like after 2 or 3 days that I haven't posted anything on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, everybody thinks I'm gone because I haven't posted anything. Because I feel like this Three of Pentacles or like the indecision that you have is like, where do I start? I don't even know where to start right now. You know what I mean? It's like, because the Three of Pentacles is about entrepreneurship, but it's also about starting from the ground up. It's about building that foundation. And then we have the Page of Pentacles, which is the student. So you're finishing school. Are you working right now at all?
Yeah, I've been at a job for like over a year and a half already.
Okay. So, but you're looking for another one.
Yeah, because right there, I've been there, but I don't know if they're going to offer me a full-time position. So that's why I'm looking at other things to see.
Okay. You know what's really interesting is there was like a whole conversation on Twitter like a week ago about how the kids that are just getting out of college and they're like in their mid-20s, like early to mid-20s, and they're getting out of college and they have these fresh degrees, can't find a job. Like nobody can find jobs. And it's because the baby boomers refuse to retire. They're like at retirement age right now, which would be my mom, which makes total sense. But like they force everybody to, you know, like the baby boomers were like, no, you have to go to school, you have to get a degree. But then entry level says that you have to have like 5 years of experience, and which is an oxymoronic statement to begin with. But like, because the baby boomers refuse to retire, there like are no jobs for the kids that are coming. And the baby boomers, I mean, there's a lot of them, right? If they're not dead already, there's a lot of them. And that's why it's called the boomer time, because there were so many humans that were, so there's like literally no jobs for the kids coming out of college. So I empathize with you on that, big time. And I feel, and the reason why I'm saying that is I feel like sometimes you feel like you're battling against an energy that you can't control. It's like you're walking against the wind, you know, like there's this huge wind blowing and you're trying to move into it. And because I have the Knight of Swords, and look at how that Knight of Swords is going directly into that Page of Pentacles. And it's like diminishing, it's like making you feel smaller than you really are. Because you're like, it's just not working. It's just not working. No matter what I do, it's just not working. And which makes sense now when I had a longtime client and friend text me the other day and say, I need to get a reading from you because I don't know if, because I'm trying to, I'm done with school in a year and I'm looking for a job. And I was like, why are you looking for a job already? And now it makes sense, right? Yeah. It's going to take you a whole year to get it. Do you feel like you're running against the clock? Or like,
yeah, kind of. I just feel like I want to have something when I graduate because I don't have insurance. So I want I have insurance through my school right now. So I just want something like right time.
Oh, so yeah. When do you graduate?
I graduate in December. Well, December is my last, like when I finish my semester, but then I graduate in February.
Okay. Yeah. So, and here's the thing is I feel like what I need to tell you in all of this is you can only do so much and then you have to release it. And I think that that's the part of this that you're sort of missing a little bit, because when we don't see any movement, we think that we have to force ourselves on it. We have to like push and push and push and push, or we have to like manifest even harder, like, oh, come on, universe, help me out here. So we try and try, which is really funny because that was part of what the daily reading was today, was talking about how we push and push and push and push, or we try and manifest as hard as we possibly can. But if we're manifesting something that's not for our highest good, or we're trying to manifest something into our life, and we're not leaving room for the universe to guide us through all of it, because ultimately the universe wants you to do what's best for your highest good. We don't always know what that is, right? The only way that we know is if we get quiet. And I feel like in your times, because I've had so many cards of indecision here, I have to make a decision. 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 Two of Wands. We have the Two of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Wands. Now we have the Two of Swords. Indecision. The Two of Swords, though, I like to call her Sally, like blindfolded Sally is what I like to call her, because she just, I don't know, I feel like she's a Sally. I also call the girl in the Eight of Swords blindfolded Sally. So yeah, you know. And I feel like blindfolded Sally here the reason why she's not seeing things happening for her in her life is because, first of all, when the blindfold is off, she's so focused in one direction. And then when it doesn't go in the direction she wants to, she puts the blindfold back on and she's like, nope, I'm not even going to pay attention. Like, I've decided, right? And on blindfolded Sally, we have the Hermit. So there's your energy. And one of the things that Virgos are really famous for, and I'm sure that there's always a reason why Virgos do what they do. Like, we don't like to waste our time. So there's always some reason behind, like, if somebody asks you, why did you do that? You're like, oh, I have a reason. Trust me. I don't need to explain it to you, but trust me that there is one there. So sometimes Virgos are really good at ignoring the problem because, oh my God, it's going to take too much time, or oh my God, it's so uncomfortable, or oh my God, that's not something I want to deal with right now. I have, way too much other stuff to do. So sometimes we like to escape within our own disillusion, I guess, or illusion, whatever you want to do. And I don't, like, do you sort of feel like you're at that point now where you're like, I procrastinated enough and now I have to do it?
I feel like I need to start getting on it, to start applying and stuff.
And I didn't want to use the word procrastination, but that's really what it is. When Virgos are like, blindfold, it's, it's, which is so fun because everybody's like, Virgos just like to get things done. And I'm like, only when they want to.
Yeah.
Like, we will procrastinate the hell out of something if we don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So, and if we think it's a waste of time, we'll procrastinate it too. So, and a lot of that is the uncomfortableness. So just taking the first step can really alleviate a lot of that. And I'll tell you a really funny story. Like, when I started this business, I had no idea how to run a business. I don't know what I was thinking, but I didn't do my taxes. and I didn't do it under the illusion that I'm like, I've never run a business before. I don't know what I'm doing. And then I found out the second year, which was like the beginning of this year, that you're supposed, when you own your own business, you have to do your taxes quarterly. And I'm like, oh, damn. I go all the way back a year.
Oh my God.
And do all my taxes and pay back taxes and penalties. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I literally lived in my own little world of disillusionment. And I was like, I don't have to do it because I don't know, right? And then when I found an expert, because I was like, okay, I'm just going to take the first step and get myself over the hump and feel really uncomfortable in the beginning. And I got a lot of really bad news. But then when I found out, okay, doing it quarterly is actually going to save me a lot of money. Instead of like waiting for the entire year to be done, because then I'm penalized, right? But it was very amusing, and I can look back now and laugh, even though it was really stressful at one point. But I can look back now and laugh. But that's what I'm saying, is like, we will put it off and put it off. So what I want you to do is just take the first step, whether that is getting your resume together, whether that's getting letters of recommendation, I don't care what it is. Start putting a portfolio together. So when you're ready to because I'm with marketing, like, don't you have to like present yourself to? It's almost like you have to audition for jobs.
Yeah.
Hello. So I want you to just make yourself a passion project. Like, make it, because it's about you. And if you want to. Another thing Virgos are really bad at doing is promoting themselves, because we like to be very humble, and people think that that's like fake. You're not really that humble, and I'm like, I really am though. Like, I cannot. It's very hard for me to put myself out there, and like when I like have things to sell on the channel, I literally get like stomach aches. When I have to be like, oh, promotion time, I'm like, oh, yay. And so I started doing it more and more and more and more, and like pushing myself outside of that comfort zone so that I would stop, like, because you have to talk yourself up. You have to make yourself sound like you're the best thing that's ever happened since sliced bread. So I just want you to take the first step and allow yourself to make you your passion projects. Okay. And I'm sure that you know how to do it. And if you're having a problem, ask people that are close to you. They will talk you up. Trust me. People will talk. Okay. Just stop avoiding it. Stop. Because I feel like once you start, and that's how you're going to manifest this. And you already know, like everything I'm telling you right now, you're like, yeah, I know. You can manifest a new career. You can manifest a new job into your life very, very easily. But you can't avoidance. 4 of Cups, you can't avoid it. And you have to allow yourself to believe in who you are and what you can do and all of that. So let's yeah, see the sun. And I just heard the song, Here Comes the Sun, do 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 do. That's interesting. Who sings that? Here comes. Oh, is that's the Beatles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a Beatles fan?
I was just talking about the Beatles yesterday. That's so weird.
Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah. I'm not surprised that Spirit brought something like that up. So we have the sun on the 4 of Cups. So you can literally like illuminate yourself by seeing things in a more clear light. And the sun is like the best card that you can get in a reading because it talks about healing, it talks about clarity, it talks about all like overall abundance in your life. And I feel like things are just going to start to make sense for you, you know? But you have to get the ball rolling. You know, you have to get out of this state of, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to, because you do know what to do. You're just telling yourself that you don't know what to do because you don't want to do it. I will call you out. I will call, that's so funny. I always tell people, I'm like, if you're not ready to hear the truth, do not get a reading with me. Yeah. Because I will call you out on your BS, like, in a second. Let's see. They're like, start shuffling. All right. Start shuffling. Where do you go to school?
University of Laverne. It's in California.
Oh, it's in California.
Yeah. It's very local, so I live like 10 minutes away from school.
Oh, that's nice. Where in California? Where in California is it?
I live in San Dimas. It's like near LA.
Uh-huh.
But it's nice. It's a quiet town.
That's good. I haven't been to California in so long, and I was really like heartbroken that I had to. I'm coming there like in the spring, the spring or the summer. But yeah, I haven't been there in ages.
Where are you from?
I'm in Kansas City.
Oh, Kansas City. Okay.
Yeah. Where is your sense of lack right now? Where's the lack mentality coming from? Where do you feel like, when I say lack mentality, you feel like I don't have enough money, I don't have enough love, I don't have enough this, I don't have enough, like, you know what I mean? You feel like there's some kind of sense of lack. Is it money?
I wouldn't say money, maybe like with career, I would just say lack of like knowing where I want to go, because I don't really know exactly what I want to do. I don't know if I want to stay in marketing or if I want to like try something else. So I think that's where it's confusing in applying to jobs. I don't know where to start. Like, I don't even know.
I feel like you're supposed to do something in communication, whether, because this 8 of Wands came out after the 5 of Pentacles. And if you're not, because the 5, it makes me feel displaced. The 5 of Pentacles is that lack mentality, but I feel out of place. I feel like I don't have a place to belong, I guess, is what the card is making me feel like. And that's why I was like, where is it? You're lacking, because the displacement or feeling out of place is more of a personal thing than it actually being real. You know, like you really don't have a sense of lack. You just think you have a sense of lack. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Thank you for being really confusing. But the 8 of Wands, like you saying that, where you're like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing marketing, or I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing something else. It has to do with communication. And I know that you said you were already doing social media stuff, or that's kind of like what you were focusing on. And have you ever, I mean, because this 3 of Pentacles popped out again. Have you ever thought about maybe doing your own thing?
I have thought about it, but I feel like right now, like I need to find something stable where I could start making money so that eventually I could do it. But not exactly like what I would want to do, but I do know like eventually I would want to do something like on my own.
Okay. Well, and I understand the whole needing to get a job to pay the bills and survival and like all of that stuff. I totally get that. But I don't want you to play small just because you think you have to survive, right? And what I'm saying with that is, if you're doing it because you're afraid that it's not going to work out for you, or you're afraid that it's not going to support you in the way that you feel like you need to be supported, that's the reason why you're not ready to do it. You're not ready to do it because you don't have like a foundation set first. Because like, seriously, I had a 15-year foundation in, I was a project manager in telecom before I started doing this. And I quit my career of 15 years and started something brand new, a business. Never owned a business in my life. Hadn't been reading tarot for very long. And I started doing it and it just exploded. I had zero expectations. So when I tell people, and this 3 of Pentacles, like, I'm going to put it in your face and be like, you're supposed to be working independent. Like, you're supposed to be an entrepreneur. Whether that means you're working with somebody else and building a company, or you're doing it on your own and building a company. And spirit wouldn't be so in my face about it if it wasn't something very important that you need to pay attention to. But I don't want you to kid yourself. I don't want you to tell yourself it's because I don't already have a foundation set. I feel like the reason why you're not ready to do it is just because you're still groomed. You feel like you need to be groomed. You're just not ready to do it. Because there's a fear of failing. Like, what if I do it and I fail? Well, what if you do it and you don't fail? You know, or what if you do it and you do fail? Do you think it's going to be the end of the world? No, you just pick yourself back up and you try something else. But that's the thing. It's like, our biggest thing is not doing something that we really want to do in life is out of fear. And it's usually, a lot of it is out of fear of it not going the way that we want it to go. Because we think that failure to us is just a blow to the ego. Failure to us is like, well, you know, it's like my ex-husband, who I was his 4th wife. And he always said to me, when we were married, he always said to me, if anything ever happens to you or anything ever happens to us, I'm never getting married again, because I'll be such a failure. And I was like, so whenever I talk about failure, I think about him, and now he's actually engaged again.
Oh my God.
And he always said to me, you're my last wife. I'm not going to do this again. And I'm like, okay. Like, I already knew way back then that I was not, if anything ever happened to him, it's not going to be his last one, because the guy can't be alone, obviously. But that's the thing, is failure is an ego. It's an egoic, you know, failure is what it actually is. The reality of it is that it just didn't go the way that we thought it was supposed to go. And if we try something and it doesn't work out the way that we want it to work out, we think it's a bad thing. Instead, we just have to learn the lesson. So I don't want you to stop yourself from moving forward in something that could really be amazing and beneficial to you. And, or like, while, you know, I mean, I know that like going to school and trying to find a job and working and then like trying to build your own business, that's a little much. But don't take it off the table completely just because you don't think you can do it. Okay.
Okay. Could I see like what it would be related to? Because I think that's another, like,
sure.
Have that. I don't know what I would do.
Oh, like you don't know what you would do for a business?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It definitely has, the Eight of Wands is about communication, and it's about, it's like the modern day, it's the modern day, like text messaging or social media. It's modern day social media, the Eight of Wands.
Okay.
Well, whatever it is, you would actually be successful in it. You don't see it. And I feel like you would be in the public eye. Like you would be somebody that, like you'd be an influencer. And there's communication involved. You have things to say. You have things to then, and you know what's really funny is I tell people, and this is my Libra rising talking. So she's such a bitch sometimes. But I tell people, I'm like, honestly, if I hadn't been given such a pretty face, I never would have done a YouTube channel. Like if I never would have put myself, because even when I was younger and I was always told how beautiful I was, I never put myself in the spotlight ever. I was a dancer, and every time they would ask me to do a solo, I'd be like, that's okay, I'll just stay in the group. Like I never put myself in the spotlight. And so when I decided to do this after a month of thinking, like it did not take me long to think about, okay, I'll just do it. It was a little bit shocking for me, and I wasn't fully prepared for like the onslaught. But seriously, when you, and I'm going to tell you this, you're beautiful. Hold on a second. I think it's happening. Don't go anywhere. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? There you
Okay, there. I see you.
I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. So you have a very pretty face, and you probably have a really great personality too. I don't know you personally, but you seem like a perfectly fine individual. Like where that you, but I'm gonna say to use your gifts, and that includes the way you look, because and I'm not saying that somebody that's not attractive can't have a successful YouTube channel. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, me personally, I wouldn't have been able to do it had I not already known that I'm not hard to look at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, let me say that as quickly as I possibly can. I'm telling you, my Libra rising, she just like, you just tell everybody that you're pretty, okay? Like, you know, and why, right? But with the Six of Wands and the Ace of Swords, it's something, I feel like it's something in the public eye. I feel like it's in the spotlight. And I do feel like you'll be successful doing it. I think that it's probably something that you will have to build, but honestly, I don't feel like it's going to take too long for you to be able to just get out there and start something. Do you have something in mind? Do you know what I'm talking about when I'm saying this?
I want to do like something that's a passion of mine is I want to be a mentor, and like I feel like I want to guide people.
Yeah.
Something, but I do have a fear of like public speaking.
Yes. Yes. So, and that's what I'm saying. It's like putting yourself in the public eye. And here's the thing. What's really scary about that is you actually have to show up for people when you do something like that. It's like, sorry, that was really pulling on my head.
It's okay.
I have so much hair. You know what I'm talking about, right? I have so much hair.
Your hair's so nice.
Oh, thanks. It's a lot. And it's so funny when I had the American Indian shaman woman look at me a year ago and be like, you have to stop cutting your hair. Like you can trim it.
Uh-huh.
Can't cut it short anymore because it's part of your magic. I was like, oh, me? Because it's so much work. I love it though. I love it. But yes, I that's definitely something. Do you have an idea of what you want to speak about?
I feel like I just have a lot of people come to me for advice. So I think something like that, like, because I do tarot reading too, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm not good enough.
Oh, you don't feel like you're good enough?
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing is, it is a Virgos, and this is actually like a blessing and a curse, where the reason why Virgos have such good advice and the reason why Virgos are really good public speakers and people want to hear what we have to say is because we are natural intuitives. We are natural healers. We're the hermit. And what I always say the hermit is, he's the guy that goes up to the top of the mountain, gets his information directly from source, and then brings it back down to the people and shares it. That's literally our birthright. That's what we're, and when you are a person that recognizes your birthright and you see that that's something that you know you're really good at or whatever, that's what I want you to start growing on. I want you, and I don't know if you know who Gabby Bernstein is.
No.
Okay. She is an amazing author and public speaker. She's a spiritual teacher. And she's one of my mentors. Like, I'm already manifesting that I will be meeting Gabby someday. It's like a huge feat, but it's like for me, Gabby is Oprah. Okay. So like, that's my Oprah. Okay. I'm like, I would love to meet Oprah too, but I want to meet Gabby more than I want to meet Oprah. But that's the thing is, you have to have somebody that you can sort of like look at and be like, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. So I'm gonna give you this task and challenge to look up Gabby Bernstein, and I'll actually
I could write it in my phone right here.
Okay. And it's actually Gabriel, but it's Bernstein, Bernstein.
BR what?
Bernstein.
Okay.
Bernstein. Yeah. I think that her husband is Jewish or something. Which
okay.
Neither here nor there, but sorry. I just want to hurt you. My boyfriend was supposed to help me with something this morning, and I said, I'm going to be ready at this time. Can it be ready by this time for you to do it? And he's like, oh yeah, no problem. It'll only take me like 20 minutes to do it. Now I know his 20 minutes is like an hour. And so I sort of slowed myself down and I was like, you know what? I actually don't need it until this time. And so then when I was done and ready and I needed it, and I went back to him and he was like, no, I'm not done yet. Dude, I gave you an extra hour. Like I looked at him and I was like, you can't, don't do this to me. Like I've already done the video. I've already said that it's available because he was supposed to publish it. I was like, I've already said it. And he's like, I know. Hold on a second. I just realized I was really cold with my answer to him, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. That bluntness.
Yeah. So anyways, he just texted me and he's like, I'm really sorry, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it's ready for review to publish. And I was like, will you just fucking publish it already? That's fun. Like, don't make me say it again. And I'm like, if we need to change something, we can, but just get it out there already.
Yeah.
Back to Amelia and her reading. Okay, so Gabby Bernstein, really amazing reference for public speaking. And that's sort of what I want you to start doing, is to research the kind of person, the kind of thing that you want, the kind of people that you want to be like, you know, because honestly, you want to go in authentic and being an individual yourself, but like going on the coattails of a trailblazer is so much easier. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if I just do it this way, it'll be a lot easier, blah, 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 right? But I do feel like that's the direction that you should be going in. Now, and not believing in yourself, that's like a whole different ball of wax, because it's not about you, really. When you're mentoring other people, first of all, meditation is huge when you're mentoring other people, because you want to protect your energy, but you also want to be open to your intuition and to what spirit has to give to you, because ultimately, the advice that you are getting is coming directly from source. A lot of people don't realize that that's what happens when we're giving advice and it just flows. Like when I do my videos, I don't even remember what I say half the time, because it just flowed right through me, right? And sometimes I remember it and then I'm like, oh my God, the things that I remember and I realize what I said, I'm like, that was really stupid and that was not from spirit. Like that was dumb. The things that I have to say are really dumb. So are you afraid that you're not going to be stable in the future or something like that? Or like, I feel like there's this burden that you walk around with. The 10 of Wands literally is a burden that you walk around with. But it has to do with just being happy and being abundant and being stable and being grounded and, you know, having a place, right? What is that? What am I picking up on? Is that like a childhood thing?
I feel like career-wise, I do feel like I'm going to be stable. I feel like it's my love life where I always feel like, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have to be in the career aspect.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is an overall encompassing uncomfortable instability feeling.
Yeah. I just, I think it has to do with me not being fulfilled, like with somebody I'm with. Cause I feel like a lot of times when I get with somebody, like I just get over it fast.
Oh,
I'm like scared of that.
I know, I've been there. I'm so good at that. And here's the thing is, that's almost a blessing, because if you get over a person that quickly, then they weren't meant for you anyway. And I know that you're like, but am I always going to be alone then? And the answer is no, you're not always going to be alone. Every single person that comes into your life is a blessing in some way. And how old are you?
26.
Okay. By the time I was your age, I'm just going to tell you this, it's like, it ages me so bad and like puts me in a really interesting generational gap here. By the time I was your age, I had a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I was on my way to divorce. And so the reason why I bring that up is because I want you to see the other side of having somebody in your life. Like, I chose to be with my 2 older sons' father because I loved him, but also because when I got pregnant, even though I was like Little Miss Independent, we're like, no, I can do this on my own. You don't have to be there with me. When he said, no, I want to do this with you, I felt this huge sigh of relief, like, oh, thank God I don't have to do this on my own. And I tell you that because be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you ask for. I had to learn my relationship lessons in a really, really hard way. I really wish that I would have been smarter like you to figure out that when it's not working, it's not working, and for me to turn around and go the other direction. And to know that it was okay for me to do that, because the right one was going to come along. Like 4 years, like when I was 30 is when I met my second now ex-husband, who's the one that had I was his fourth wife. So, and then when I was 36, so like I literally, cycled all over again in my 30s what I did in my 20s, because I didn't learn the lesson, right? And it was a very Saturnian, like when I went through my Saturn return when I was 28, 29, and 30, it was like divorce, mental illness, meeting my second soon-to-be ex-husband. And so like I cycled out. So when my whole point in telling you that story is to not be burdened by what you don't have, but to feel, what's the word that I want to use here? Feel comforted in knowing that you're making the right decisions for yourself. And when you meet somebody and you are done with them, or you've learned the lessons from them, they'll just fall off. There will be that one person that stays and keeps staying and you're like, oh my God, I can't even get rid of you if I tried. So, but your disinterest, do you know where your Venus lies?
My Venus Leo.
Oh, okay. I was going to be like, if you're a Venus and Virgo like me, of course you get very disinterested very fast. But the Leo one actually makes a lot of sense too, because if you don't love somebody with all your heart, or if you're not like caring for somebody with all your heart, then and if they're not reciprocating it, then you are going to be disinterested. You're going to be like, no, I can't with you at all. But the burden that you're not going to be happy and safe and grounded, that's actually bringing more negativity to it. So I don't want you to hold on to that. Goodness sakes. I don't want you to hold on to that state of mind. It's like the fear, like you're afraid of something that hasn't even happened yet. You know what I mean? Like, why? And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, why are you afraid of something that doesn't even exist? Like, that seems a little crazy, dare I say.
Yeah.
Crazy. Let's see. And it's not that, and I don't even know that I don't even know that the Capricorn, because I was trying to see if like maybe it would help you to know that the Capricorn was the one. But I don't want you to think that you're wasting time by being with people either.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you're like, oh, I just wasted my time?
I do feel like, yeah.
It's not a waste of time though, because again, every single person that comes into your life will teach you lessons about yourself for growth purposes. Mm-hmm. And it's not like every person that comes into your life isn't going to be the one, right? That was my thing, is I fell in love with everybody. And they would fall in love with me and I would fall in love with them, and it would be like, all right, let's just, like do the whole family and married and like all the things. But the more you give energy to the waiting, the more you give energy to the what if, the more you give energy to the fear of not knowing, the more of that you're going to receive. So the more waiting you'll have, the more, like I've done readings with Virgos that are like my age, and they're like, I've never been in a stable, grounded relationship. I was focused on my career for so long. And I'm like, well, the reason why you weren't in a stable, grounded relationship is because you were focused on your career the whole time. And they were like, well, I thought we weren't supposed to give energy to what we want in our life. And I'm like, well, you're supposed to plant the seed. You're supposed to put yourself out there. You're supposed to manifest it. But if you're like constantly working, or you're constantly focused on this aspect of your life, and you're not giving any energy to this aspect, you want to give the positive energy to it, right? So what you want to start really doing for yourself is like doing the mantra every day. I deserve to be loved. I'm a good person. I, whatever, like all of the good things, right? And actually what's amazing is Gabby on her website has some pretty good like mantras to do, like everyday mantras to make you feel, she's awesome. Like I can't even with her. She just came out with a new book and I'm like all psyched up on all of her super attractor stuff. And I'm like, yes, I'm a super attractor. So, when you get all excited about that thing, that's me today. What else? We have like 5 more minutes. Is there something else you want me to look into?
Not anything specifically.
Okay. We'll just see what else they have for you.
Okay.
Do you feel pretty good about the reading so far?
Yeah, I do. I feel like it calmed me down a lot because I think I do have anxiety. I think that's my problem.
It has that effect on people to like,
yeah.
Because like without even saying it, I always set the intention before I start readings, especially when I'm doing birthday readings. I'm like, tell them they need to chill out. Tell them they need to relax. Yeah. So the advice that you're getting, and I'm just going to take these 3 cards. That was a heavy one. That was a big one. You need to allow yourself to be a little bit more vulnerable and open. And it's scary to do that. And the reason why it's scary to do that is because of the because of where we've come from, right? Because of what our past was. And so instead of focusing on the things that have already happened in your past or the things that you didn't get or the disappointments that you've had, because that's what the 5 of Cups is saying, instead of focusing on that, every single day needs to be a brand new adventure. It needs to be a brand new existence. You get a clean slate every single morning when you wake up, right? And one of the things that I really like to do is before I go to sleep at night, that's when I do my best manifesting, because when we're sleeping, we have the least resistance to anything because we're just like done, right? We're out. So I'll lay in bed at night and I'll envision myself with how it would feel. Because like, so for example, right now I'm manifesting a new house. And I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get there. I don't know, like I'm okay with the time frame. I'm not worried about money. I never really do worry about money, but I'm not worried about the time frame or any of that. But I'm sitting there and I'm like envisioning the way that I'm going to decorate. And I don't decorate. Like I am not a decorator. All of this stuff you see up here, like it's just, it's for show. And when I was married, I would decorate houses, but for some reason I would always get into a space that was my own. And I would think it was temporary anyway, so I wouldn't put pictures up on the walls, nothing. And so I will lay in bed at night and I will envision the way that my living room is going to look. I'll envision the way the room, like my spiritual room, is going to look, and how I'm going to have my altar set up and like all the things. And then instead of the desire, the want, or I really wish that I had this, I sit there and I imagine how joyful it's going to be for me to be sitting in my dining room or cooking in my kitchen that has a lot more counter space than this does. And like all of the things that really make me feel at home. And then I tell the universe, like that's what I think about when I fall asleep at night, instead of worrying about all the things that I don't have and worry about all the things that I have to get done tomorrow and like all the stuff, right? I think about happy things and I think about how wonderful it's going to be to have those happy things in my life. And then I go to sleep. And a lot of times I'll use guided meditation to help me fall asleep, just to make sure I get a nice, good, deep sleep. And I wake up in the morning and I know that I did my best manifesting. So I want to challenge you with doing that, because the Fool and the Queen of Pentacles is saying that it's time for you to really open yourself up to the possibility that you can have nothing is too good to be true. Nothing is too good to be true. And there's enough to go around for everyone. There, you know, the idea that there is a lack in jobs, the idea that there's a lack in money, the idea that there's a lack in people that we can have relationships with, that's our ego telling us that there's that lack there, or that's what we've been programmed to believe. And we've also been programmed to believe that we have to suffer to be able to get what we want, which is not true. What you really have to do is resist the expectations, like stop putting expectations on yourself, stop putting expectations on other people, and stop putting expectations on the universe, and open yourself up to the flow of it. Okay?
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it was really nice talking to you today.
Yes, same.
Good luck, and keep me updated. And if you become an amazing influencer, I'm going to be like, oh, I read for that goal. So keep me updated on how you're doing, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.